like to call to order the 25th meeting of the Mayor and City Council on Monday, February 27th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Second agenda item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Mo will lead us.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman DeWalt,
Here.
Councilman Cole,
Here.
Councilman Sidnor,
Here.
Councilman Mitchell,
Here.
President Smith,
Here.
Mayor Mo.
All right. Agenda item 4 is the approval of the minutes of the meetings of January 4th, 2023, January 9th, 2023, and January 23rd, 2023. Does anyone have any corrections or amendments to the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt the minutes that were just read into the record.
All right, can I get a second?
Second, Mr. President.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right. Next agenda item is the report of the Mayor and City Council, and I will start with Councilman Mitchell.
Greetings. Of course, today is second to last day of Black History Month, and so I wanted to make sure to recognize the Black elected officials, present and currently, Reginald Parks, Frederick Smalls, Valerie Nichols, Keith Sidnor, and Brencis Smith, and now myself. I wanted to talk about what I've done in the community. On the 14th, which was Valentine's Day, I went to the Maryland House Industry Night in Annapolis. On the 15th of February, I attended the NAACP Climate Legislative Night, the HBCU Experience at Asbury Methodist Church in Annapolis. Later that day, I attended the UMBC Annapolis reception. On February 17th, I testified in Annapolis on HB 556 and Economic Matters, which is the cannabis legalization bill. February 18th, I went to Selborne's House Food, Clothing, and such giveaway. On the 19th, I went to Love Life Cafe, where they had a book signing. There was a 7-year-old author, and he's wrote a book, and it's called It's Okay to Be Me. Later that day, I went to a late file bill hearing at the Prince George's County House Delegation in support of PG 309, which is basically a bill that will give some restaurants in the entertainment district of Main Street liquor licenses. And that would be great, of course, as we look to continue to revitalize and improve Main Street. On the 21st, I attended Compassion and Choices Lobby Day in Annapolis. That is the Death with Dignity bill. And later that day, I attended the monthly statewide Tenant Protections Coalition virtual meeting. That evening, I went to a press conference to support Mount Rainier as they passed rent stabilization unanimously 5-0 and became the second city in the state of Maryland and the only in Prince George's County. On February 3rd, I dropped by Laurel High School to check out their wrestling team as they were preparing for their county tournament. Later that night, I joined PGCMA monthly meeting on Zoom. I couldn't join in person. I know we were the host, and everybody said they had a great time. On the 24th, which was Friday, I did a Black History Month read-in at Laurel Elementary, and I got to read two Black History themed book to third graders there, and it was a good experience. Later that day, I went to the grand opening and ribbon cutting at Nothing Bundt Cakes in Laurel, which is family owned and operated, and it, from my understanding, it was their second location. So definitely wishing them the best, and I was able to have a buntini. It was delicious. They have another location, I believe it's in Silver Spring, and I wanted to give thanks to LARS, the Laurel Economic Development Team, and the Laurel Board of Trade for supporting this upcoming business so much. Later that day in Annapolis, I testified on a Just Cause bill sponsored by Delegate Wilkins, and Tenant Safety Act sponsored by Delegate Stewart in Environment and Transportation Committee. This Saturday, on the 25th, I went to the 42nd Annual Black History Month Breakfast Celebration, which was a joint breakfast by the 4th and 5th Congressional District at Martin's Crosswinds in the Emerald City of Greenbelt. Later that day, I attended 3A, 4A South Regionals to support the Laurel High School wrestling team, who had the most winningest team. They qualified 4 people for regionals. They had 3 or 4 finalists and returning champion Alex Bellerin. So we wish them all luck at states, and hopefully Alex can be a 2-time state champion for Laurel. On the 26th, I attended the Laurel Museum to check out the It's All About Laurel exhibit, and that was great to see all the different communities. And I wanted to say tomorrow is Fair Housing Day at the Prince George's County Council. There will be a press conference starting at 9 and the hearing for CB7 starting at 10. And I wanted to say I appreciate all the workers for making this city great. And the International Labor Organization, they made collective bargaining, a principle standard. And one of the things, one of the founding principles is freedom of association ensures that workers and employers can associate to negotiate work relations effectively. Combined with strong freedom of association, sound collective bargaining practices ensure that employers and workers have equal voice in negotiations and that the outcome is fair and equitable. Collective bargaining allows both sides to negotiate fair employment relationships and prevents costly labor disputes. Indeed, some research has indicated that countries with highly coordinated collective bargaining tend to have less inequality, indicated that countries with highly coordinated collective bargaining tend to have less inequality in wages, and lower and less persistent unemployment, and fewer and shorter strikes than countries where collective bargaining is not established. Good collective bargaining practices have sometimes been an element that has allowed certain countries to overcome financial crises. ILO standards promote collective bargaining and to help ensure that good labor relations benefit everyone. And of course, most people are familiar with the Wagner Act. In 1935, the National Labor Relations Act passed, and it protected workers' rights to organize and created a vehicle in which, through labor disputes, can be discussed. And so I bring that up because, of course, today we are bringing up collective bargaining at the end of our agenda, and we will bring it to an historic vote because workers, of course, should be able to collectively bargain, and Laurel is a city that cares about public safety, and we care about all of our workers. And I realized a long time ago that unions are the biggest reason why working conditions have improved in the United States. And so I bring that up because I was approached by a Department of Public Works staff member and a city resident who mentioned that he would like the right to collectively bargain and have a union election and effectively unionize. And workers are stronger together, and unions help ensure that workers' rights have always been protected and uplifted. And I just wanted to say that Laurel, DP&W, they are essential workers, and they should be treated as such. Thank you.
Councilman DeWalt.
Good evening, everyone. Another packed house. These are the greatest meetings in the world when we get everybody here. First of all, last Saturday, I attended the Deep Creek Dunk. I've done it for 20 years. There was no ice on the lake this year, so they didn't have to break the ice for us to go in. Actually, Chief Hamill was there, John Morozak, and John Solankowitz, all represented the Laurel Police Department. I was representing the retired Laurel police officers. I'm going to read this letter that I got from my neighbor who witnessed a lady get hit by a car on 5th Street. The title of it is Speed Bumps. Hi, Carl. This is Kasuma, your neighbor. I was writing because I witnessed the woman get hit by the car on Tuesday. Although still awful, I was terrified that it was a child on their way to school. It happened about 7:15, so that's when all the parents bring their kids to at Laurel Elementary School, which is a half a block away. I feel strongly that on the numbered streets in Old Town, we need to have speed bumps. I see people running stop signs and California rolling through them all the time near the schools. Something I'd like to bring up, but I don't know how to get started. Please let me know if there's anything you can do to help. Thank you. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine a lot of our neighbors feel the same, and they do. A lot of our neighbors feel we are a cut through for Route 216. They come off 216 on their way to work. They go down Main Street, PG Street, Montgomery Street, Laurel Avenue, and it's a cut through. We also have another cut through up at Laurel Lakes where they go from Route 1 on Cypress Street, then to Kilburn, then out to Van Dusen, and vice versa. And they're all 25 mile per hour speed in residential neighborhoods. And they're the worst drivers in the world because all they care about is getting, they were not thinking about their driving, they're thinking about getting to work as quickly as possible. And I promised Kasuma that I would read this at our council meeting tonight. I'm going to piggyback a little bit what Council Member Mitchell said, and I'll reminisce a little bit. Before I came to Maryland, I was a shop steward for the United States Steelworkers in Duquesne, Pennsylvania. I did that job for 8 years, and it was a big union and a lot of responsibilities to it. When I came to Laurel and I became FOP Laurel Lodge 11 president, the first thing we tried for was collective bargaining. And the 6 people that sat up where I'm sitting now were totally against collective bargaining for the FOP Laurel Lodge 11. And it's amazing, 6 years ago, because of President Waddell and the members of FOP Laurel 11, they got collective bargaining, and it's been 6 years now since they've had it. And tonight we will vote on extending that another 3 years, which is absolutely fabulous because I see a lot of our hardworking police officers here. I also see a lot of hardworking of our public works people here. Collective bargaining improves working conditions, helps attract and retain highest quality of employees, supports the fight for social justice and racial equity. It's the way to solve workplace problems, and it's a means for raising wages, better benefits, and safer workplaces. The interests of both workers and employers can be more effectively met. And the biggest part, I think, of collective bargaining, and I use the analogy with the rent stabilization bill, is that with rent stabilization, all I heard from people was they go to bed at night and then the next day, if their lease is up, their landlord is allowed to increase their rent from $500, $600, $700, or even $800. And we had that happen in Laurel. And they're worried to death when they go to sleep at night. And it's similar to having collective bargaining. You don't know what the next day is going to hold if you don't have it. at least for 3 years, you know what you're going to be making, you know what benefits you're going to have. You can plan. Not only plan for your significant other, but plan for your children, their education, maybe their college education, but you have something to rely on and it's not hit unexpectedly. And then when your contract's up, you go back to talking about things that you want again, and it helps improve your quality of life. And that mental well-being, I think, is the most important part of collective bargaining, and I would support collective bargaining for any employee of the city of Laurel. Thank you.
Councilman Signor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week was the CRWA tournament in Baltimore. The CRWA tournament is a stand for the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. It's a historical black college. It's the oldest historical black college tournament in the country, and it started in 1912. And it changed its name to Central. It was called the Color. As you know, we go to different names with black folks and different names. We're called Color at one time. It was called Negro at one time. Now we're called African American or Black. So that tournament is held in Baltimore. This year, Baltimore got the contract for 5 years. It's a good tournament. So I went to Virginia State University. That's one of the schools in the CRWA tournament, Historical Black College. So I wanted to say I went there and shout out Winston-Salem State. They won the men's tournament, and Elizabeth City State University won the women's tournament. Also, on February 22nd, I attended Laurel Senior Citizen Building Black History Program there. I was one of the participants there. I was going to say my comments later about the union. As you know, most people know that I am a union person. I joined the union in 1997, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, American Federation of Government Employees. And then when I came to D.C. in 2003, they did not have a union at the D.C. pretrial services. So in 2006, I was one of the officers that went around, help organize if we didn't get a union there. I served as a steward there and also negotiate contracts with district pretrial services, probation there. So I know how important unions are. And also, I always say the hardest working people in the city is the police officer and DPW, along with Park and Recs. You know, I don't want to bring favoritism or anything, but all the city workers work very hard, and they all should get the respect that they do. And the police officers work very hard as well at DPW. So I'm glad to see DPW here. I have no idea you guys was coming here tonight. I see you guys got a local union with you. I'm quite sure that this administration is open to negotiation and talking about things, you know, because I think we want the best interest for all our employees. So I just want to say that. Well, I was going to hold my comments later, but since Councilman Mitchell and Councilman DeWalt brought our union things, I just want to let you guys know that I a lot of union experiences, like I said before. So that concludes my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Signor. Councilman Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. A lot of the things that have been said tonight, I also attended, so I will try to keep my remarks to the things that I attended that others were not present at. On the 16th, I attended the Fire Department funeral services for lifetime firefighter Bill Watts. On the 23rd, I attended the swearing-in ceremony for Tiago de Carvalho, our brand new Laurel police officer last week. Wanted to also mention some upcoming events. Tomorrow night, the 28th at 6 p.m., we'll be having the Environmental Affairs Committee meeting. That will be virtual on Zoom. Please email the clerk's office for the link. This Saturday, the 4th, I'll be participating in an invasive vine cutting event behind Laurel Museum. There's a lot of vines taking over the trees there. It's a great time to come out, see your neighbors, do something positive along the river, and get outside while the weather's nice. And then next week on the 8th, we'll be having another public pride meeting at 6 p.m., again, virtually. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'll go myself before I go to Mr. Mayor. Today I got to attend Governor Westmore's Black History Month breakfast. It's well attended. It's good to see other elected officials from across the state and just catch up. Before I move forward, I'd like to state I noticed our police and our DPW is here. And I'm happy you guys are here, and I'm happy we're here to push forward and see where we all lie. I believe we all lie on the same side of union contracts here. So looking forward to that coming up, and I'm happy you guys are in attendance. I have two presentations I want to make for my colleagues here, being the last meeting of Black History Month. So I have one here for Councilman Mitchell, and it says, "With our greatest appreciation, City of Laurel, Maryland honors Councilman A. Mitchell in recognition of being the 6th Black council member elected and your contributions to the City of Laurel, Maryland. First elected in November 2021. We wish to celebrate you this Black History Month on February 27th. It says the 12th because I wanted to do it then, but we wanted to keep it about women. For your time serving the city, and I just want to let you know you're living Black history. So I just.
She's on her way.
Here we go. Miss Wing, you wanna- You're next. I have one more, of course. This one is for former council president, Councilman Keith Sidnor. And it reads, with our greatest appreciation, City of Laurel, Maryland honors Councilman Keith Sidnor in recognition of being the 4th Black council member elected, the 2nd Black council president, and your contributions to the City of Laurel, Maryland. First elected in November 2017, we wish to celebrate you this Black History Month on February 27th, it says the 12th, but the 27th, 2023, for your time serving the city. You are living Black history. My last remarks, I also want to thank Mayor Mo, the administration, my colleagues on the council, for celebrating Black history here in the city, for being diverse, for hearing unions, for hearing your workers, for responding to the citizens here. I think it's very beautiful, and being the last meeting of the Black History Month, we're following in the footsteps of Dr. Martin Luther King, of listening to our people and having a diverse city. And I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'll move on to my report. Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple condolences to the family and friends of William Watts, who was very active here in the city, in the fire department, and a retired Prince George County police officer for over 23 years. And our condolences to the family. Also to the family and friends of Denise Schwab. Her husband is a former commander of the American Legion Post 60. As well as Mark Freeman, who is with the IT department on the passing of his father. We also give a shout out to Tommy Skaggs for a speedy recovery. He's on our Laurel Ethics Commission and had an accident the other day, and we wish him a speedy recovery. Excuse me. On February the 16th, the Mayor's Conference was held in, Maryland Mayor's Conference was held in Annapolis. We were down there working for 2 days. Working some legislation, meeting, and well attended by many of the mayors, and just a good program overall. As I said, on the 17th, we did attend the memorial service for Bill Watts. The Prince George's County House delegation had their 2023 late filed public hearing bills. There was some confusion. Quite frankly, that was put in, a bill was put in without us knowing anything about it regarding some liquor permits, which are called development districts for the Main Street area. I want to thank our delegation, our 21st members of the House delegation, as well as our senator. They knew nothing about it. We were able to work to get it squared away. We were able to testify on the bill as well, and we think that'll move forward. We hopefully can help at least one business and attract a few others. We did have our Alley community meeting, which again which is Alley 8. We're working with the community there, and that should hopefully be a project that's continues to move forward. We will be giving a briefing to the council on the work session coming up on Wednesday. And then hopefully there's some bidding process that's got to be completed. And we'll bring that to the council and hopefully move forward as well. We did host the Prince George's County Municipal Association meeting here last week. I want to thank the city staff for attending and members of the council, as well as many mayors and council members that attended from throughout the county. You heard about the Cakes grand opening, nothing but Cakes grand opening and ribbon cutting. We want to wish them the very best and congratulate them. They seem to be doing pretty good so far. We hope that continues. I do want to announce on May the 20th, the Main Street Festival will occur. We met with the business community that is moving forward. Tonight we will, after we hear from the public and take care of a few business, we are not extending anything. We are doing a contract with the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 11. I want to thank them and thank the negotiating staff. Our labor agreement is already in place for them. We're not going to extend that. This is really the 3-year contract on what's been negotiated. I want to thank everybody involved. I want to thank members of Public Works that are here as well. If I'd known everybody was so happy and wanted to move forward on certain things, we wouldn't even have needed you here tonight. We'd have been taking care of it by now. But there are things that I'm sure you are aware, or those that are with the union know that there are certain things that will have to be put into place before things can occur. We will do that. My commitment's always been to do what's right and to communicate with members of our staff. And again, not only the police department, all of our employees. You guys have had a little bit of a break. I must admit, we have no snow, and I should have knocked on wood because now we're going to get snow. But I appreciate everything you all do. Appreciate you all being here tonight, and look forward to working with you. As I know, Councilman Cole and our Councilman President, both part of the leadership of the council here, will work together and we'll fine tune things and we'll hopefully have good dialogue. So with that said, Mr. President, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right. Mayor appointment.
No, I don't have my list. You can read it out.
We have a mayoral, you said,
Douglas Red.
we have a mayoral appointment, Douglas Red, to the Emergency Service Commission.
Is he here this evening? Yeah, could you stay? I thought that was, I'm sorry. This is, gentlemen, appreciate, we've been going back and forth. He wanted to get involved. I appreciate you doing this. Very important commission. Appreciate you being here this evening as well. So thank you very much. And I'll ask the council if they would confirm that, Mr. President. We appreciate it.
Well, I'll entertain a motion.
And Mr. President, make a motion to approve the appointment of Douglas Red to the Emergency Service Commission.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that, Mr. President.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations. Thank you for being here.
All right. Agenda item number 7 is a general public hearing, which I will open at 6:29 p.m. And just a reminder that we have a 3-minute limit per speaker. Just state your name, your address, and for the record. And of course, more than welcome. You can, if you signed up, if you didn't sign up, you can get signed at the list over there, and we'll hear from you. So I will go down the list. Madam Clerk, this the only list we have? Yeah. Okay. I have a Kate Wright.
The mic's on already. It won't
Okay.
shut off.
I'm myself with the 3 minutes. My name is Kate Wright. I live at 149 administrative assistant for 6.5. And the only leverage an employee has is to walk away, often at great cost and risk to themselves, to merely inconvenience their employer. The employer wields a far more terrifying is a threat against their livelihood and their very lives with the loss of health care. The city has policies to provide some protections, but they can change at any time and are crafted entirely without input from the employees who must comply. What protections the city gives, the city can take away. A union balances that equation. Unions secure better wages. In fiscal year 2022, inflation was 8.5%. However, the city only provided a 2.5% pay for our CDL drivers has reached a critical state. Even after counting the benefits that government jobs are no longer, we are not competitive. Since 2010, the city has added over 1,000 new homes, 5,000 new residents, and 6 miles of road. But what has not changed? 2010 are budgeted again through 2024. No increase to crews in 14 years, despite or keep quality.
Thank you. Next, I have a John Beering. All right. Thank you. All right. Next, we have Lloyd Holloway.
For your testimony. Just come around that way. Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. Good evening. My name is Lloyd Holloway. I have been with DPW for 2 years. As you all know, years ago, there was a tragedy out here on one of the trash routes. A fatal accident happened with one of your previous employees. It's sad. And when I found out there was no union here, it took me by surprise. We put our lives on the line every day out here in the streets of Laurel, where citizens don't care about us dumping trash cans, doing road work, anything. They would fly by us like we're not even there. So I feel as though we should have a union. because we need these type of benefits. We need wage increasements, better uniforms. As you can see, what I'm wearing, what my colleagues are wearing, our uniforms are not up to par at all. Our wages are terrible. The city of College Park starts their employees off and laborers at $19 to $20 an hour. And their drivers start off like $24, $25 an hour. Where we start off at $16 for laborers and $20 for CDL drivers. That's not right. And as Kate stated, inflation is crazy. So I'm gonna keep it short and sweet I'm saying that we need a union. It's election year, and I'm looking for union support because I support unions as well.
Thank you. Next, we have Lloyd Hollow. Sorry. Next, we have Trevon McMillan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Members of the council, I would like to thank you guys for having us out tonight. Encouraging words by Mr. Mitchell and Smith over here. We're glad that you guys are on board. We want a union because we would like to have a voice. We would like to be heard. We would like for everyone to hear us. We would like to be able to come to work and be happy. Growing up, my mother taught me that you should enjoy your job. You should enjoy the things you do. And I actually enjoy making a difference. I honestly enjoy doing this. I've done numerous other jobs, but this is the one that I actually like. And I want it to feel like a home when I come to work. And I would like to have a say in what my home and my household is like. So please, we would like to just have a voice. And that's just what I want to leave you guys with. I would like to thank all of my colleagues for coming out and supporting us. And I hope that you guys can see that we just want to be heard.
Thank you. Next, I have Darrell Bricks. Sorry, that was Darrell Bricks. We have Kyle Lewis.
Mr. Lewis, come here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Lewis. Worked with the city for about 8 years on the back of recycling. Super dangerous job. I was there when I got to see Marcus and was very close with him. Very tragic. And, a lot of things changed at work. And, we weren't necessarily trying to go here with it, but it seems like, we're backed up against the wall right now. So I want to just let you guys know that we do have a really tough job, and we would like to get heard. A lot of the guys, we are in the streets every day. We're the people that you see, and it would make a difference if we were a little bit happier at what we're doing at DPW. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I have Ruth Walls.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My husband and I have lived at 414 Prince George Street for the past 40 years. We have been blessed to have incredible service from the Department of Public Works. We actually feel very spoiled with the wonderful job the workers do when they remove our trash, recycling materials, compost bin contents, yard debris, and special removals for unwanted bulky items out in front of our property. Employees of the department are extremely dependable and efficient, showing up in all kinds of weather to do their job. Many city residents falsely believe that people employed by the Department of Public Works only pick up residential and commercial trash. They're completely unaware that when a person is hired by the Department of Public Works, there are many other responsibilities in their job description that have nothing to do with picking up trash. Some of the other duties that a Department of Public Works employee might be involved in are snow and ice removal, maintenance and repair, pothole repair, and storm drain management, in addition to other things I'm not even going to list because we don't have time. As a nurse, I'm very grateful that the Department of Public Works provides an essential service helping to protect the city by keeping it clean and safe. I think it's easy for the citizens of Laurel to take the department for granted because they do such a fantastic job. If they were not doing their jobs, then and only then would many of the people notice the deficiencies. The Department of Public Work employees have a challenging environment to work in during their day-to-day activities. The workers lift heavy items, and this can certainly pay an incredible toll on their bodies. They are at times exposed to environmental and occupational hazards. I would imagine that Tylenol and Motrin are good friends with many of the employees. I applaud and uplift the department and their employees. I have the utmost respect and gratitude for the work that they do that's overt and covert. God bless you and thank you for everything that you do.
Next, I have Jorge Vasquez. Or is it George? All right. Harold. I'm sorry. Daryl Bridges. I did call that. I'll go back. I'll be able to call you after.
Good evening. I'm Harold McCall. I work Public Works. Been here for 23 years. Love coming to work, but they took the fun out of it. It's not fun right now. We need to make sure they take care of us. It's dangerous every day. So we can, work on taking care of the guys who come to work every day and give 100%. And that's what we do. Thank you.
Next, we'll have Daryl Bridges.
How everybody doing this evening? It's Darrell Bridges.
Darrell.
I've been an employee with DPW for actually next month be 2 years. Out of the years I've been working, honestly, it's kind of like the beneath the belt, and it is really because of the wages. I mean, we go out here and buy a $250,000 truck. All these other employees get new vehicles, but yet there's no pay raise for us, and there's no people that's applying is laughing and talk about, passing up the offer because there's no money. The collective bargain, the union, I think that'll help. We definitely need that. We just need to put more into DPW. That's just like the guy said, it's a dangerous job. It's a very dangerous job. When we out there in the rain, these guys soaking wet on the back of the truck. I'm an equipment operator, I drive, but my guys are soaking wet, and then they gotta sit around here all day afterwards. We need to change, and I think the union will help that. That's it.
Thank you. All right. I called a Jorge. I'm going to call him one more time. Is there a Jorge Vasquez? No? Okay. Mike Eshon? Sorry if I messed up your name.
My name is Mike Whitehorn. I've been with DPW for about 11 and a half years now. When I first started, I was the same way. I used to love coming to work. I enjoyed doing my job. The last, I say 3 or 4 years, we fell off. We went downhill. I don't know what. I mean, you can see the uniforms that we wear. We would like better uniforms, to look more professional out in the streets. That's, everybody's touched on the bases just about already, though. So, thank you all.
Thank you. Next on my list, I have Troy Griffith.
Yo, I wasn't gonna say anything, but somebody mentioned Dr. King. Y'all know once you mention him, I gotta say something. Dr. King, I think we're 35 days away from when he was assassinated, and this was the very thing he was activating for, right? So they should not even be here. That's embarrassing, like straight up, like do the deeds. I'm not part of a union, or am I? I remember, I literally jotted my notes down. I was not going to speak. I remember my mother bragging about $11.99 when I was a kid all the time. I got $11.99. I grew up in New York, if nobody know what that is. And unions are part of everything we do. I drove a car here, and I'm sure it was built by unions, I commute to work. I take the metro. Everybody know what the metro is. They're part of a union. This shouldn't happen. Stop mentioning Dr. King's name if his words are going to give you orgasm, but his deeds are going to leave you impotent. Make this happen. It's that easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Amirin Peterson.
Good evening. My name is Amira Peterson. I am employed by the Montgomery County Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. I'm also a union member and a resident right down the street in Duval West Side. As the primary service provider responsible for keeping our cities clean and functioning, DPW workers play an integral role in our communities. By unionizing, these workers can gain collective bargaining power to negotiate better wages and benefits, which are often inadequate and far beyond industry standard. Additionally, unionizing will also empower DPW workers to fight for improved safety standards and working conditions, as well as proper job security, so that they can have the necessary job stability and mental health support to be successful in their roles. Moreover, unionizing also benefits the cities that employs these workers by reducing employee turnover, which can be costly and disruptive for local government, especially in an election year. In addition, with higher wages and benefits, DPW workers will be able to better afford to live in the city, providing greater economic stability for the community. By joining forces to demand better working conditions, DPW workers will be able to create a more effective and efficient workforce, benefiting the city and its inhabitants in the long term. Local DPW workers are essential to the functioning of our cities, and by unionizing, they can ensure that they are receiving fair compensation for their hard work. By joining forces to demand better wages, benefits, and working conditions, DPW workers have the ability to create a more secure and an equitable future for themselves, their families, and their local communities.
Can you state your address for the record?
I'm in Duval West Side at 14340 West Side Boulevard.
All right, thank you. All right. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak? Is there another list? Is that it? All right, now I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:49 p.m. Thank you all. All right. Agenda item number 8 is the second public hearing with possible action on resolution number 2-2023, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, designating the month of April 2023 and thereafter each month of April as No Mow Month to encourage residents to voluntarily delay lawn care and mowing to support pollinator-friendly habitat during a critical period of pollinator emergence and providing an effective date. Councilman Cole, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just add on this that recently I attended the Greenscape Symposium from Brookside Gardens over in Montgomery County, and learning what we can do when we convert some of our lawns either to permanent native habitat or even taking just 1 month to not cut our grass will really help our native pollinator population. So that's all I have for this, Mr. President.
All right. Well, seeing there's no one signed up to speak on it, I'll open and close the public hearing on that at 6:49 p.m. 6:51 p.m. Sorry, and I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we adopt resolution number 2-2023.
Can I get a second?
A second, Mr. President.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Sidnor,
Yes.
Councilman DeWalt,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
President Smith,
Yes.
Mayor Mo. Motion carries.
All right, agenda item number 9, second public hearing with possible action on resolution number 3-2023, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of Laurel, Maryland, for the purpose of approving an agreement between the City of Laurel and the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 11. Ms. Pulley, do you have anything else to add since last meeting?
Good evening, Mr. President, Mayor, and members of the council. I do not have anything to add prior to the other meetings and work session. However, I do just want to once again thank the FOP, their legal team, and the city's bargaining team for coming to this conclusion with the agreement and ask for the council to approve it.
All right. Any comments before we move forward from the council?
Yes, I got a comment. Basically, I want to say this on record because I had conversation with the mayor as well. And also had this conversation with the president of the FOP, some of his members as well. When we talk about negotiating contracts and everything and pay salaries, I always say that it's a whole city that we have to take care of as well. So we have to leave money out there for other workers as well. So I just want to put that on record that we are concerned about other employees getting raises as well. And I think that this administration will work with the employees to make things better as well also. And that's why I just want to say that, because I think it's very important that, that we look out for most of the workers, all the workers we possibly can. We are a city with, I think our budget's around $42 million a year. And so we're going to work as much as possible with everything we can do. I want to once again reiterate that when we talk about raises for the police department, what they deserve, and also DPW deserves raises as well. And I think since I've been on the council, that I've been on the council 2017, when the police department got a raise, other employees got a raise as well. So you can double check that for me, city administration, if that's incorrect, correct me as well. But I definitely want to say that. So thank you, Mr. President, for your time.
All right, Councilman Mitchell.
Just a question. I know we were going back and forth about the annual use of force report, and you said it will be posted online this year, or late winter, early spring. Any idea like when exactly that would be? Oh, chief question.
I don't know. However, I would just defer to the chief real quick if he has an update on that.
Expect by the end of March.
Okay.
By the end of March.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Chief Hamill. And I just wanted to say, that there are 3 other cities that I know of when I was looking in Prince George's County, Bowie, College Park, and Mount Rainier, that have collective bargaining. And of course, there's several areas outside in municipalities, and then of course the city of DC and Baltimore City. And so, I appreciate everybody for coming. And, as I said earlier, I'm happy for signing this historic CBA. Thanks.
All right. Any other comments from the council before we move forward? Okay. Well, I've read the title into the record for a second reading. And I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I'll make a motion to we approve resolution number 3-2023.
I second it.
All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman DeWalt?
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell?
Yes.
Councilman Cole?
Yes.
Councilman Sidnor?
Yes.
President Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Mo.
going to make a few comments first. Where's Mr. Weiner? We need you to stand up. Aren't you getting close to retirement? How many more contracts are we going to work with you on? Huh? Okay, we appreciate it. Mr. Weiner was the first attorney that we did our first contract with. Truly a gentleman, actually took the time when we were talking about this in the beginning to meet with me and others and talk about the contract, how it was put together, different things that had concerns at the time of the mayor and the council. And I appreciate that. I want to thank you and acknowledge that as well. And wish you the very best and hope we see you in 3 years from now. Okay. I'm going to concur. I do also want to acknowledge both the teams, the negotiating teams from FOP Lodge 11, as well as the negotiating team on behalf of the city. As I always say, this is about coming together at the table. This is really about talking about issues, talking about how we can make the lives of individuals better while we're still remembering that there is a certain pot of money that we have here in the city. But I think throughout the years, and at least this is our third one, everybody has been willing to come to the table. Is there differences? Absolutely. And do they sometimes go away mad? Sure. But everybody remembers when they come back into the room, we're doing what's best for the organization, which is the city of Laurel, the police department, the FOP Lodge 11, and our residents. And I just want to acknowledge and thank them for working with the city as usual. And Christian, I want to thank you and your team for working with this as well. And it'll be a pleasure. Right after this, Mr. President, we are going to we have to sign the resolution, and then we're going to sign the contract after we adjourn here. So thank you all very much. And Mr. Weiner, again, thank you very much for all that you've done over the years. We appreciate that very much. Thank you, Mr. President. I concur.
Right. Well, thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you DPW for coming out, and looking forward to see where everything goes. There being no further business to come before the council tonight, this meeting is adjourned.